Welcome back. Today we are going to start with Ryker's journey with the Scoundrels. Very exciting for him. He is about to go to Batuu for the first time right now. And we are just going to skip this Welcome to Batuu mission because we don't need it. We've done it twice already. So we are going to go and meet with Hondo and get a mission from him and try and join the Scoundrels. So actually, our first mission is to beat him in a game. And I think is it Sabak? I'm really not sure how it's pronounced, but we want to beat him in a game. Also, the aspiration calls for playing 5 rounds of the game and ordering a drink. So we're going to do that right now, order the drink, and then go play 5 rounds with him. Actually, across, now that I've played all 3 tracks, I do think that this one is the easiest with the Scoundrels because unlike the other 2 tracks, no one really cares what we're doing or any IG check we pass easily because we have neutral reputations with both other groups. So there is that. And I guess that makes sense that they're neutral with the 2 other groups, but it does make it a little easier for us. And then we get another mission. And the next mission is to get a data spike. I was thinking about getting more things, but the price started to add up really quickly, and I thought we didn't need it. So instead, we bought a bunch of data spikes, and now we need to obtain the package. But of course, we are working on getting our 5 rounds of Sabak first. And he's sad because he lost. So while he's being sad about losing, we are going to go get that package. And this is actually a really easy one because we've dealt with these control panels plenty of times before. So we are going to analyze the control panel and find out what is going on. And, people just walk by and they don't even care. They're like, oh yeah, that guy's messing with the control panel. People always do that. So we are able to get in there and then get the package and then go right back. So it was a pretty easy mission. Honestly, most of the missions for the Scoundrels are pretty easy compared to the First Order and the Resistance. I actually think I'm going to say that the Resistance is the hardest, and then the First Order, and then the Scoundrels. Because also, remember in the past, we had to focus on missions that were plus plus in order to get higher rank faster, but actually for the Scoundrels, a lot of missions are plus plus, not just the big one. So that did come up. So now we are going to go to the First Order again, and you can go to the Resistance if you want. You can go to either place. You just need to find one of the holotables. So he is also, for his aspiration, looking to swindle some people. So we're going to try and multitask here and do both at the same time. And we need to complete 5 missions and open a supply crate. So obviously completing our mission is good. I was going to try and swindle this guy, but the option didn't come up at first, so that was interesting. Yeah, I was looking around and I couldn't find it, so that's fine, but we can swindle this guy over here. But then he stops wanting to talk to us. He wants to go to bed. And we are unable to swindle him. So that was a bummer. But anyway, we are going to go back here and open a supply crate because nobody really patrols this area anyway. And in the background, the rest of our Sims are making simoleons at work. So now we are going to go find the hollow table. And we're pretty easily just able to walk right in. I mean, nobody suspects us of anything, although he did fail at opening the door, so we're just gonna poke right in there and get the contraband information that we need. And then we are going to continue to try and swindle people because they deserve it and because that's what scoundrels do. So we are going to try and do that on a couple of people and are able to get 2 in. And now for the next part of our mission, we need to get the passcode and then get the contraband. So, but the passcode is in the cantina again, so there's a little bit of traveling to do for this aspiration, going back and forth a little bit. So we are back at the cantina, and we will find out the passcode to the contraband location. And in order to do that, we can order drinks for the person who wants who has the passcode. So the only problem was is at first I ordered the drink and then I was going to try and give it to the person, but actually you can just click on them and order a drink for them. So you can see that there. And so I order them 2 drinks and they seem to enjoy it. And then we are going to try and get the passcode out of them, which turns out to be not too hard now that they've had a couple drinks. I don't know if 2 drinks would get me to give up a super secret passcode, but you know, maybe they had been drinking earlier as well. So now we are going to go get the contraband. Exciting stuff here. And, you know, for the scoundrels, it is really easy to get around because nobody cares about them. We got ID checked several times and still it wasn't a worry. So that's good. The next problem here is that I'm looking for a control panel. Again, you know me with control panels, I just can never find them. It's really, you know, a weakness of mine. But we are going to keep looking around. It's supposed to be across from the droid depot. So we are just going to keep making little circles around the droid depot and try and find it. It is over there. And we are able to go inside and get the contraband. And now we're just going to bring the contraband back to Hondo. And it is a lot of loading screens. So there's that, but that's okay. They didn't take so long to load, just the usual amount of time. So we are going to deliver the contraband and then work on getting our next mission because we do need to complete 5 for our aspiration. And also, Riker's sisters are getting promotions at work, which is great. We are raking in the simoleons there. So this next mission is a business trip, and this is the equivalent of the other kind of day trip missions that the other tracks had, where you go on the spaceship and you go and, you know, just kind of disappear into the spaceship for a little while and then come back. There was the optional part of preparing for the trip, but even when I clicked on Hondo, we still couldn't, like, the only thing we could buy from him were data spikes, so I don't really know about that. And look, Anya's an old lady now. She's getting old. Oh. But she does have her grandchild, and that's what she wanted, was to have a grandchild and be able to see her kids, you know, succeed at the legacy, so that's nice. Also, Teresa is getting old. It's really tough watching the Sims get old. It really, really is. But, we just do our best. And the cycle of life continues. So we are back from our business trip, in quotes, a business trip, our legitimate business. And we report back. Of course, it takes 5 million years for your sim to get back and forth between anywhere. As for the pack as a whole, I think I do like it. I don't really do the gameplay packs that often. Like I'll play them once and then maybe play them again like a year later. So I think it'll be a while before I play this pack again. Honestly, I was getting a little burnt out trying to do all 3 tracks at once. But I think it went pretty well, and we are going to do another gameplay track for Kaylee. So I think that does make it more fun on video rather than just rabbit holing them into careers and then being bored most of the other time. So anyway, Ryker got a call from his mom and she gave him some gossip on his dad, which is, a questionable parenting style, but that's okay. It was just a one-night stand anyway. So the next mission we are going to do is we are going to find some lost items. And over here at the, what is it, like an antiquity dealer? Um, we have to, yes, we have to talk about lost antiquities with them, and then we have to go find the stuff. And we can find that by asking around, hey, have you heard about these lost antiquities? And she basically just said, go and look in scrap piles and in supply crates. And luckily, the Black Spire outpost has plenty of those, and we know where some of them are anyway. So we're going to start over here with this one. And first, of course, we have to override the locks in order to get inside. And then we are going to go into it and try and find the items that we're looking for. And luckily we did get one of the 3 items. And of course, everybody's always waiting around to get into the supply crates or mess with the control panels. I think that's interesting too, is someone's always up to something. So we are up to something as well. I like that everyone in this game has their own agenda. But in the meantime, we are going to look around for other supply crates and also scrap piles. Except this guy got in our way, so we pushed him away. And we are going into this supply crate. We didn't find anything in the last one, but we did find something in this one, which was good. And then I think we find some scrap piles next to look through. Yep, scrap piles. Just to try and continue to find this stuff. So, I don't know how stuff that you lose that's valuable ends up in a scrap pile, but that's fine. So he is just going through that scrap pile and found what he was looking for. So we are going to head back and return the items. And then we have completed another mission, which is great. And he has gotten up a rank. And he needs to get to rank 5. And honestly, this just went super fast. Like, I was going to spread it out over more than one video, but then it just happened really quickly. So for the next part of his aspiration, he has to bribe a stormtrooper, skim credits off of 3 control panels, and also successfully cheat and win at Sabak. So we are trying to cheat now. You have to click on the table and click cheat. And I was a little worried he'd lose anyway, because it's not like he has a ton of experience with this game. So, but I also don't see a skill bar above his head, so I guess there is no skill associated with this game. So it's just kind of probably randomly generated whether you succeed or not. because it doesn't seem to be keeping track of how often you play or how successful you are at playing. But also, in the meantime, everybody around them is dancing to the music. And, you know, it's good music, and that's really the only good way to keep their fun up around here. So that's good for them, and we have successfully cheated at the game, which is good. And now we are going to run around doing our other things. So we are going to first break into this control panel so that we can skim credits off of it. And I just kind of have him guess, and we're good. We got right in. So that was good. We're now taking credits from the control panel and looking for another control panel to get credits off of. Also stormtroopers to bribe. I also don't know what makes that one. Oh, we're getting ID checked. See that? And he just said, that's fine. You're good. So we are going to try and bribe a stormtrooper, but they're not really interested in our bribes, which, I mean, is good for them, but also bad for us. And he kept getting the like resistance with like an X through it over his head, which I thought was interesting. And I don't know if it's because he's currently in the First Order area. But anyway, we are going to break into this control panel next and then skim the credits. And then try again with a stormtrooper. There really actually isn't that much credits that you get. I guess that's why it's skimming, because it's not enough to be noticeable. And again, we are constantly rejected. But we know that there's another control panel over here. So it's like, excuse me, ma'am, if you don't mind. I know that you're patrolling this area, but get out of my way. Oh, and now he's mad at the First Order, so that's funny, too. He's like, that lady would not get out of my way. It must be indicative of how everybody here acts. And then we just guess, which, you know, it never goes particularly well for us, but we are just guessing because we don't feel like analyzing again. We could get lucky. Don't usually. And then we're getting ID checked again. And they're like, yep, you're fine. Your ID is good. It's because he hasn't actually done anything. So we finish skimming credits, which is good for us. And now we really just need to bribe a stormtrooper. So I'm looking around and find one that we already know. So we're going to run over to him. And of course, he's mad at the implication that we could bribe him. So then we just kind of try and make friends with him a little bit. And, you know, just butter him up, be like, oh, well, the First Order is so great. And, you know, making sure that he is a little softer for us. And it works. So we have completed that part of our aspiration. The next part is much the same as every other part of the other tracks, which is get to rank 5 and go 5 times in the spaceship. And then the other one is just to have a lot of credits, which we already have because this is the last thing we're doing. So that was kind of interesting. There's no like final mission for this, but we are going to go on lots of business trips. And I'm just going to skip ahead. We're going to go on business trip 5 times, which does get us our trip in the spaceship. So we got to rank 4 by doing lots of business trips. And then we're going to continue to do that in order to get our 5 trips in the spaceship done. And that's what we get. And now we are just trying to work on rank 5. So that is good. And we are really, really close. So the problem, I think, is that the business trip, which is a super easy mission and gets us everything we want, is plus plus. So it really took us quickly through the ranks of the Scoundrels. So I was just like, you know what? Let's do a Chewbacca mission and see what happens. So we meet up with him, and he wants us to get rid of the records of him in the First Order. So we go to the First Order, and we need to do some more hacking. So this is pretty usual, just again with the control panels. I have to admit, this track, while it was the easiest, was also not the most diverse with respect to missions. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But I do think that this pack is well done, and if you like the gameplay and the different things that you can do with the different factions, that it is a good game. And now we have successfully done that and got ID checked, and they don't care about us, so we are going right back. We are going to tell Chewbacca that we were successful. And that is going to get us almost to level 5. We're like the smallest of smidges under level 5 after that. So then we are going to ask to see more missions. And we are going to do a scouting mission. So this is the highest level of mission that we can do right now. So we picked it, but it did end up just being another spaceship mission. So we're going to skip ahead through those dialogue prompts and then give him a report on how it went. And we are so close here. So we pick one last mission, and it is actually funny. It's that first mission there where it's just like a bunch of Chewbacca noises. And so I was like, okay, what is this? But it was just another spaceship mission. So there's that. So that is the last thing we have to do. And we're just going to skip ahead to when he comes back from the spaceship. And that gets us to rank 5. We've completed his aspiration. And now he's going to go home. So since we've completed the aspirations of everyone, we are going to start focusing on Kaylee. So I am going to play her for a couple of days until we can get her aged up into a teenager and really start having some autonomy. So that is what is going to happen in the next one. And I will catch you guys then.